Hey guys, Ninja here. So you've got yourself a leak. You don't know what it's coming from, but you see the water stain on the ceiling. You're assuming it's from the roof. A couple different places it could be coming from. So make sure, first off, we want to make sure it's from the roof. So mainly we want to rule out all the other causes before you call in an expert and have them come out there. First thing I want you to do is, if you know where the leak is in the house, is there a room above it? Basically, is there attic space above it, or is there actually a room? Sometimes it could be your bathroom. If you're a two-story home, could be your bathroom right above there. That could actually be causing a leak. Maybe a toilet, shower, or something like that could be causing a leak. So mainly we want to narrow down that it is coming from a roof. So if there's no other floor up there and we know it's attic space, the next thing I want you to do is go up in the attic. Basically just take your staircase. You should have a pull down staircase or a scuttle hole. Get your ladder up there. Just go to the opening. Take a flashlight up there, get to the top of the opening, beam the flashlight all around. And basically what you're trying to do there is isolate where that area is. So remember where the area is when you're going up through your attic stairs. Just get up to the top of the stairs, beam the flashlight over in that area, and just look for obvious causes. You have an HVAC system up there. You could actually have your drain pan, which actually has a pipe that leads off of it that goes outside to leak outside or drain outside. But that can actually be clogged. And if that line gets clogged, basically that pan will overflow, and that could be the cause of your leak. The other thing you're looking for is, are there any pipes, anything obvious? So is there a pipe there, something visible that you can see, maybe a pipe coming down from the roof? If it's just a white plumbing vent stack, that could actually be the roof penetration. And basically those go all the way through the roof, and there's a boot that goes around the top of them. I'm going to show you a couple quick, easy things you can do for that. You can caulk it in some cases. If the boot is really bad, you'll actually see daylight coming in. So you can take your flashlight now, turn it off once you're looking in that same area. Do you see any daylight coming down? That's your next thing. So you could actually see, okay, is there light coming down around that pipe boot if it's a pipe boot, or is there light coming down that leak area? Maybe there's a tree limb that's punched a hole through the roof, that kind of stuff. If it's after a storm, that could be something that could happen. So if you've identified it's no longer it's HVAC, there's no HVAC system up there, there's no pipes up there. The only other thing it could be up there is a plumbing piece. Now for this, you'd actually need to walk out onto the rafters. Mainly safety is the biggest issue here. So if you're not comfortable, if you don't get up in your attic, you don't walk around in your attic, don't do it. It's just not worth it, because you can really hurt yourself and also fall through and damage the drywall, and basically put your feet through the drywall ceiling below you. But if you've got good balance or maybe you've got a walkway up there, you can go and walk over to that area, then just walk over to that area and check that area out. Mainly here, once we're up there, now we're looking for water stains. Are there water stains running down the rafters? Are there any stains on the actual wood? If that's something that you can see, now you can isolate, okay, that is a leak in that area. You know the water's coming from there. Now at least you've verified at this point that it is coming from the roof. Mainly, again, you just want to rule out all the other causes before you call a roofer out. Because basically that's money. You're costing money to get a roofer out there. And then a lot of times, not all roofers are this way, but a lot of times these guys are just salesmen. Any contractors, in a lot of cases, very similar. They're trying to sell you a job. A lot of times they'll come out there and try to sell you an entire roof when you don't need a roof. Maybe your roof's a little worn, but nothing that needs a roof. But unfortunately, they'll use this type of scenario to try to push or sell you a roof. So again, it's always good to be educated on what's available or what's going on with the roof. So once you've isolated now what's going on with the roof, you've determined it is coming from the roof. Now there's a couple of ways you can figure out, okay, where from the roof is it? Mainly what I like to do is go ahead and get a point in that room. So if it's like, say, your dining room, you've got a nice big window there. So go out in the front, look at that window, remember where, okay, the stain is up here, maybe up in this corner, compared in your dining room. So look at that window and go, okay, well, if I'm looking at the window at the front of the house, there's the stain right there. So it's coming from this area in the roof. Is there something obvious up there? Is there something missing? Do you have a shingle missing, a tree limb sticking up there? Is there anything that's obvious is the first thing we're looking for. If you can't see anything, maybe it's a two-story home, you can't get up there, the next step would actually be to put a ladder up there. Again, safety is a huge issue here. If you are not comfortable getting on the ladder, if you have balance issues, vertigo, anything like that, do not get up on the ladder. You will injure yourself. Very highly likely you'll injure yourself. Just not worth the risk in that case. But at least you isolated the other things, and then you can call an expert from this point. Now again, if you've already done all this, you're comfortable on a ladder, Maybe you clean your gutters out all the time, you're comfortable up there. So you climb up to the edge of the ladder first, look around, see if you can see, okay, is there something obvious again that I can see the leak coming from? Sometimes when you're looking up the slope of the roof, you can actually see little humps in the shingles that look like this kind of little hump, basically where the shingle is kind of lifted up slightly. A lot of times that can happen from what's called nail pops. It's where nails are backing out through the shingle. They were either installed improperly, the roof didn't penetrate through the decking properly, or possibly when they put it in, the nail just never went all the way down. So it was never nailed down. The roofer didn't tack it down how he's supposed to. And now it's backing up through the roof. Now what that'll do is that'll cause that shingle raise like that, and then the other thing as well is if you have wind-driven rain, the storm coming in from this side, now that's going to allow water can actually blow right up under there. Because your shingles are not waterproof. It's a common misconception. Shingles are made to shed water. Basically what that means, if you pour a cup of water on the top one up here, it's going to go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. If you take a hose and spray it upwards on your shingles, it'll go right up under those shingles. So just make sure, again, roofs are made to shed water. They're not waterproof. So if you have that little buckle like that, mainly what you can do there is you can lift the shingle up, knock the nail back down. Again, if you're comfortable on the roof, something you could do, or at least you could point out to the roofer or whoever, your handyman, whoever comes out there to do this type of stuff for you, and just say, hey, this is what I found. This is the area it seems to be leaking from, and this is, at least you're giving them a point of reference to start from. And they may get up there and find out that's all it is. It's just a nail pop. The other things that are very common on your roof is your roof valleys. And when I say a valley, it's basically where the roof comes together just like this. So, you know, where the roof, two slopes of the roof come together, that's called your valley. And water basically will pour down and channel into that valley and then run off the roof. Those are one of the areas that leaks very commonly. Your pipe boots are your second area that leaks up there, your chimney flashing, any type of skylight. Those are all things, any type of roof penetration where it goes through the roofing system can actually be the cause of your leak. So mainly you want to isolate those, figure out what those are up there. And at that point, if it's something you can do, maybe you can get up there with a caulk gun, you can seal around the pipe boot, or maybe it's around your skylight or something to that extent. You could put, you know, some type of adhesive up there or caulking just to go ahead and knock that out and stop the leak. A lot of times that's all it needs. Normally your pipe boots, after 6 to 8 years, they wear out. So I recommend replacing them at that point. But you can get up there in between and just put a bead of caulk all the way around the pipe. And that actually will help, you know, as far as the amount of water. It's not, doesn't let a lot of water in, but it normally drips a small amount of water in, unless the boot's totally gone. When the boot's totally gone, you can actually take your finger and stick it all the way through around the pipe. No good. That's going to let a lot of water in over time. Every time it rains, you're going to get more and more water in there. So those are the main things you need to look at when you're getting them on your roof for your roof leak. Again, once you're to this point, whatever your comfort level is, you can try to fix it yourself. I'll do another video just to show you some of the quick fixes on replacing a shingle, how to replace a pipe boot, maybe caulking on the roof. I'll give you just some ideas on some of that stuff. Again, main thing here is making sure you're safe. So be safe on the roof. Roofs are extremely dangerous. Carrying a ladder around is extremely dangerous. Always watch your surroundings and be aware of power lines if you're holding the ladder. I always try to put the ladder up exactly where I'm going. So put it up, make sure there's no power lines, nothing around you, make sure the ground is level, make sure that you have a good pitch. Basically the rule of thumb is arm's length. So you go arm's length to where that ladder is, and then the feet should be at your feet. That'll give you just the perfect pitch to go ahead and climb up it and not really have any issues there. Anyway, that should be about it. Again, not as bad as it could be. It's just a roof leak. Don't panic. You know, unless you see leaks everywhere or shingles thrown out all over the ground from maybe a heavy storm, and then maybe it's time to look at some other options. You know, call a professional out first. If you see that much damage, I would go ahead and call a professional out first in that case. But anyway, hopefully it was a good video for you. Hopefully I educated you or helped you out any way I could. And